courtroom clock. I'm going to call the Tuesday, May 21st, 2019 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. First items on the agenda is the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, none of us lives for or because of ourselves. We all live as a part of a community. Help us to work together to build a community that sustains and enhances life. May those of us who have been selected as leaders within our city remain open to your wisdom. Remind us that common sense and worldly wisdom we have been taught sometimes needs to be set aside in favor of holy wisdom, a new way and maybe a different path. In the discussions that take place this evening, open our hearts and minds to the sense, the wisdom that you have to share. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. Next thing on the agenda is the Citizens Open Forum. There's only a few rules. Number one, you have 5 minutes. When you get up there, please state your name and your address, including your city, zip code. We don't assume you're here from our lovely city. The other rule would be that we have certain items that are a public hearing. As a matter of fact, items 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 are all public hearings, so we'd ask that you hold your comments till that time. Outside of that, I'm open and ready to go, and I'm going to start on this side of the room tonight. Sharon Edwards, please. Come with props. They look familiar.
It's that time of year again. Yay! Sharon Edwards, 60 Ashley Lane, Oldsmar, Florida, 34677. I am with Project Pop Drop, and I'm excited to be partners of Provision, aka POP, with the City of Oldsmar and the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce for our 4th annual food and toiletry drive benefiting Oldsmar Cares. This takes place all month long in the city of Oldsmar. We have these boxes distributed in over 40 different businesses. They'll be collecting, this year we're collecting canned goods, non-perishable food items, toiletries, brand new socks and underwear for men, women, and children, and Walmart gift cards. We'll do that for 28 days. The drop is actually on Saturday, June 29th. Okay, can I approach?
Please.
Okay, so we're doing something extra special.
Thank you.
Hopefully you have to share.
Well, this makes it easy.
That's an odd couple.
This year, we're going to have a Project Pop Drop tailgate party, and that is going to be the week before the actual drop at the Oldsmar Super Walmart on Saturday, June 22nd from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m., where we'll be handing out these flyers to people coming into the store, which, by the way, those flyers will also be handed out to businesses in the city much beforehand. And so we'll be handing out hot dogs and all that good stuff, just like a tailgate party. And if these people can go in and purchase those items, we'll collect them. And of course, I'm hoping to see all your smiling faces there to volunteer. What else? I'm very grateful that Mayor Seidel.
You almost said Beavis, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I'm glad your name's right there. Mayor Seidel, but Doug Beavis as well, Jerry Peruzzi, Jason Sanders. We already started filming. I have this little habit of throwing out a new video every day for the month of June on Facebook to promote what we're doing, promote the businesses that are getting involved. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on. You're going to see a lot of me this month coming up, so thank you.
Sharon, you have time. Why don't you quickly tell them what POP stands for on Pop Drop?
Partnership of Provision.
There you go.
So
There you go.
we're partners.
I learned by doing the videos, and of course, Mayor Beavis and I, we like to have fun, and Sharon does. But the blooper reel this year, I think it's going to get a little bit longer.
Yeah. And there is going to be, at the very end, there's going to be a number of bloopers that are going to be posted. They're too good not to, so.
They're edited a little bit first.
We'll see.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Great job. Anybody else on this side of the room? Seeing none, this side of the room. Dave Tilkey.
Dave Tilkey, 505 Arlington Avenue East, Oldsmar. Just a reminder that this Saturday is our 4th annual Honor Our Heroes Memorial Run. It's a 5K that starts right out here. Plenty of time to still register, plenty of time to show up Saturday and race or just cheer everybody on. This year we've partnered with Oldsmar Cares and the local VFW, and we're anticipating 500 runners on Saturday, so it will be a great event. Just a little heads up to the residents of State Street, Lafayette, and Summer Shore, and Summer Park that there might be a little bit of delay getting in and out between 8 and 9 o'clock, but we'll do our best to get everybody where they need to be. So please, everybody come on out Saturday morning, 8 a.m., the gun sounds. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will be there. I haven't confirmed yet, but I do plan on being there at the very beginning. Al, did you say you were going there too?
Well, I'll be there, but I'm not running.
Yeah, well, I'm not really running either. I'm just saying a few words.
Are you in?
All right, all right.
He was third in his age group last year.
Oh, all right.
I expect second this year.
Wow. All right, next. On that note, moving on. Oldsmar Flea Market. See what I was doing there? Yeah.
Great job. Well, good evening, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about the exciting stuff that's happening over at, I'm representing the venue at Oldsmar Flea Market.
See what I did?
But I'm Andy Buriat. I represent Grady Pridgeon Development and Management, and I help in his hospitality events. So as he does more and more fun things, I get to do some fun stuff. And boy, am I having a good time at Oldsmar. I enjoyed Oldsmar days. Who doesn't like a circus? Man, I'm so excited about this. If I could approach the desk, I'd like to pass some things out so
Sure.
I can have some of the information. But who doesn't love a circus?
Dan loves circuses, don't you? They got food there. and
I love the clowns.
I like it too.
Oh, thank you. Lots of show times.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Giraffes?
Giraffes.
Oh,
You know it's a
you have to
party.
share some of those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. So Circus of Dreams at the venue at Oldsmar Flea Market. Exciting. If this, who doesn't have a lot of fun at a show that has a circus? We have an hour show. It's going to be spectacular. I don't know if any of you have seen Circus of Dreams in the past or the Hollywood Circus, but they've been at many of the big fairs around Florida, and they're bringing their great show to us. As a matter of fact, I've been busy all day with them, along with Teresa, getting all set up for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to be 2 weekends. 3 shows on Saturday, 3 shows on Sunday, 2 shows on Friday. We'd love to see everybody over there with kids. They have 9 unbelievable 2-humped camels that you can ride, and then they're in the show, and they're like unbelievable. Ride ponies, pig races, kitty petting area, kitty rides. So it's just going to be a lot of fun, and that's just going to complement what we're doing over at the Oldsmar Flea Market. So the circus is coming to town. Bring your smiles, bring your fun, have a great time. Thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent. I was concerned that Councilmember McGee was going to challenge us all to camel races. So. She's thinking about it. Hey, are they still having the press event on Thursday? I understand it's at noon. Okay. I don't know if any of the council members would like to attend it, but they are doing a press event for this Thursday at noon. So you can.
Where?
Thursday at noon.
I would assume over at the venue park. Yeah. Yeah, when you get there, they'll direct you to it.
Okay. You get to see the excitement that's happening out there.
Well, we're excited about it. It's nice to see some new things happening over there and all part of the plan. And so is this in the new the venue that you recently created, so it'll be the first official
First
use
event,
of it.
official event at the venue. Venue of the Oldsmar Flea Market.
Okay.
So,
I don't believe it. All right, thank you, sir.
thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Becky Afonso, 174B East, or State Street East, Oldsmar, Florida, 34677. Just wanted to come up here and say that on behalf of the Florida Bicycle Association and our Board of Directors, I wish to thank this council, former councils, and residents of Oldsmar for being supportive of legislation to save lives. Last Friday, I had the privilege to attend the bill signing by Governor DeSantis to make texting while driving a primary offense, officially effective July 1st. I was able to stand behind the governor during the press conference, shake his hand, and personally thank him. On other matters, tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the State Street Center, Forward Pinellas will host a Tri-County Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting. These meetings happen 3 times a year, and they move them around the counties. This is Pinellas County's opportunity. The meeting is open to the public and will feature the Advantage Pinellas Active Transportation Plan update and a discussion on electric scooters. Prior to the meeting, I had actually left agendas for each of you so that you'll know what's going on. On Tuesday of next week, May 28th, the day after Memorial Day, the Friends of the Library will hold the last general membership meeting of the business year at Tickle Hall in the library at 1 p.m. The main agenda item will be to elect officers for next year and to discuss our assistance with the summer reading program that starts on June 6th. And by the way, I am registered for Saturday's 5K.
Good, good.
Thank you, that's what I have tonight.
Chip's got some competition.
Congratulations. You worked really hard on changing the texting law. I know how much effort and time you put into it.
I
So
appreciate that.
I think it will save lives, so congratulations.
And it's something you can't count, but you just know you're going to do it. And I would be remiss not to mention the Florida Don't Text and Drive Coalition, which really spearheaded the effort to gather 80 organizations across the state. I think we made a powerful statement. I know our membership did, and the council did by honoring me with a resolution, I believe, last session. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Becky.
You're welcome. Do we have anybody else? Seeing none, I'm going to close the citizens' open forum. Next item on the agenda is the community minute, which will be announced by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Well, Memorial Day is coming up, and so we'll have this holiday closures around the city. Everything will be closed. But there's still something to do because I have our annual Memorial Day ceremony, which is at 10 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Park. We will have a bagpipe player this year. We haven't had one of those in a long time. And our keynote speaker is Gold Star sister Paula Rodriguez. And then, of course, we have hurricane season starting again, so make sure you know your evacuation zone before the season starts, pinellascounty.org. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next item, approval of additional new items on the agenda. New items on the agenda are items 6, 7, and 14. Does anyone wish to pull that from a vote? The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is awards and recognition. Presentation of the Council Manager Award for May 2019. Who's giving that award this time? Well, that would be me. So I'm going to come down there to do this. Pretty quiet in here tonight.
Compared to
What a
last
difference.
time. Yeah, 2 weeks. That was great to see everybody last time.
Is this on? Okay. All right, let me, let me just go ahead and call her up here. The recipient of the May 2019 Council Manager Award, any guesses who that is? Our Assistant City Manager, Felicia Donnelly. Come on. Up to, all right, and her husband, Jim. All right, so let me read this first, a little bio on Felicia. Felicia Donnelly is a AICP, American Institute of Certified Planners. Don't be impressed, I had to look it up. Serves there as Assistant City Manager and Economic Development Director for the City of Oldsmar. Her extensive background includes parkland development, recreational program growth, procurement of grants, urban planning, and community engagement. Most recently, she served as Oldsmar's Director of Leisure Services, during which time she oversaw the opening of the Oldsmar Disc Golf, renovations of Oldsmar Sports Complex, and welcomed Major League Soccer New York Red Bulls training to the fields in Oldsmar. We won't hold that one against you. It's a long story. Sorry, couldn't resist. USA BMX National Gator Nationals and the new Sunshine State BMX Association Cup Series proved to be a seamless event under her supervision. Felicia earned her master's degree in urban and regional planning from the University of New Orleans. As I mentioned earlier, she is a AICP certified professional planner. She's an alumnus with Leadership Pinellas, a graduate of the National Recreation and Parks Association's Director School, and is currently, I don't know if everyone knows this, she is actually the president of the Florida Recreation Parks and Association. Felicia Donnelly, give her a round of applause. This cut out. Was that planned? So here's the thing about Felicia. Now, any of you who have worked with her or done any kind of community projects or worked on solving a problem or tackling an issue, you know she brings a wealth of knowledge. I mean, seriously, when you're talking to her, she is a real resource. She carries herself well, and she has that charm about her the way she does it, right? And, you know, she's a really smart lady. And, you know, there's two types of smart people, in my opinion. There are smart people that have no skills in delivering their wealth of knowledge. And Felicia is just the opposite. And I mean that sincerely. And I'll give you an example, the way she delivers that. And this is just a testament to her skills, her charm, but you know, really her, I guess her strength in dealing with people. She is probably the first one in a long time that I can think of who actually had the entire council invited to come to the economic development planning meeting we held, and effectively, with a smile on her face, told us all we could come, but we would have to shut up.
Oh, sorry, sir.
And by God, we all did. And it's kind of the skill she has. And so I guarantee everybody, when they heard that you were getting this recognition, thought, wow, that is an excellent choice for this honor, because you are one of those people who truly, I believe, make this city better by being here. So congratulations.
Gosh, I am, as Confucius says, right? Choose a job you love and you never work a day in your life.
See, there's that now.
I am humbled, surprised, but mostly thankful. I'm thankful that I get to work under the leadership of City Manager Al Braithwaite, under the vision of a thoughtful and visionary city council with our excellent staff, passion and educated. Really, I believe that we have the best team. I'm thankful that you all especially were welcoming to me, and you opened up your home and you gave me a home in Oldsmar. And we have a unique town, and it's irreplaceable. So I hope I'm here for many years, and thank you so much. I feel like I actually might cry a little bit. And thank you to Jim Donnelly. You know, as Confucius says, you never have to work a day in your life. That's not really true. You have to work a lot. And so, Jim, thank you for encouraging me to apply, to helping me through those interview questions, and for all of the volunteer work that you help us with. So, Thank you.
To say that I got to know Jim a little bit better this Saturday night. We were at Suda's Dancers, and him and I were kind of back there feeling the rhythm, and I don't know, we got it. But just think we got it. Just right. All right, scary. Never mind. Photo op.
Thank you.
My head in there.
It is.
Well deserved. Well deserved. All right, next item on the agenda, Community Redevelopment Agency. Item number 2, schedule a work session to discuss town center follow-up. What were the dates that we had?
June 19th, 21st, 27th, or July 1st. In conversations I've had with council, July 1st appears to be the biggest problem. And I think Linda was a maybe on June 21st.
I'm a waitlist for a USO shift, so I would prefer the 19th to 27th or
I can do June 21st or 27th.
No, we had,
27th.
I can do 19th, 21st, or 27th.
27th, so far we got 27th on.
hold on, I think I got,
You okay on 27th? You're okay on all of them. except-
my,
Amazing, it's incredible.
if it's open for everyone,
Yep,
the 19th,
no, oh, yeah, I'm open on the 19th.
the
I
19th,
couldn't do the 19th.
you could
It
not.
looks like we can all do the 27th. Can you do the 27th, Mayor?
Where are you all at? Ann?
Yes? Oh, we're good on the 27th.
Oh, okay, 27th?
We could always change the
Yeah, if
time
we need more
potentially
dates.
to maybe in the morning if that works
I can do
better.
4, but I,
Okay, just
Yeah.
suggesting. We need to change a time.
That's fine, that works for me.
27th at 4?
27th.
Okay.
I must have misunderstood your note earlier.
23rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Oh,
I'm good. 27th.
great. All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent docket, which will be announced by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Approved minutes of May 7th, 2019 City Council meeting. Item number 4, approved minutes of April 12th, 2019 Annual Planning Conference. Item number 5, approved payment to legal counsel for April 2019 legal services. Item number 6, accept resignation of Craig David as alternate board member of the Code Enforcement Board. And item number 7, accept resignation of Jonathan Phillips as alternate board member of the Planning Board.
Does anybody wish to pull anything?
Yes.
Which
I'd
item?
like to pull and discuss item number 4, please.
Item number 4. Okay. Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion to approve items 3, 5, 6, and 7.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Councilmember Norris, item 4.
Let's see, where is it? Okay, a couple little things. One minor thing, but it's not minor to me. It's on page 26 of 105, and something that would never come out of my mouth is written on the middle of the page, and we were talking about open spaces, and it says it says that I said carving out a piece could be detrimental, and that is absolutely not what I said. So I think
What was the context of this
we were
portion
talking
of
about
the-
open spaces, Katie. Open
Okay.
spaces and the fountain and the different things the different ideas that we had for open spaces. And
Okay.
it says carving out a piece could be detrimental, and that is not anything that I would be in favor of saying.
So what would you propose? How'd you like it to read?
I think, Ann, we talked about saying would not be detrimental.
Yeah, I might not have heard not, or could have misheard it completely. Could just
Okay.
strike out that whole How do you guys want to do
Out
it?
of space, for me, carving out a space would be paramount.
Okay, so that's your first
I would,
change?
yeah,
Okay,
I would change it to paramount,
paramount.
yeah. So I don't want an
Okay,
official
what's the next
record
item you
to.
have?
Oh, the next item is, okay, so when we were talking about, oh, it's on page,
32.
thank you. I talked about, talked about this with Cal. When we got through going through the council priorities from the last council, you asked if anybody had any to add. And I had pointed out that I was all in favor of the prior council's priorities because I agree with building downtown, the sports complex, infrastructure, economic development. But I did point out that quality of life issues were missing. And I discussed how our trees are dying, and I would like to see tree programs and public art. And the item number 7 was added, and I think that it just wasn't specific enough because it's kind of broad for the employees to say, identify areas of need for beautification and potential grants. Yeah, that would fall under art and trees and stuff, but I would like to see it reflect more of what we did speak about. Because all of us kind of, Katie, you talked about art, we all talked about the trees. So I don't know if we just, make it a little bit more specific, if you guys have any thoughts on that, but I would like it to be easier for city staff to know that.
Exactly what?
What we
yeah,
meant.
that
So here's
I-
what I'm gonna,
Right?
here's what I'm gonna suggest. Can you kind of just comment on a couple of areas specifically that you're concerned about that and express how you'd like it to get fixed? I don't think anybody has any objections to it. And what I would propose then is that we table that and have Ann go back and fix it and bring back, and perhaps you two can get together to make sure that it's done as you'd like, you know? And then we'll discuss those particular proposed changes when they come back at the next meeting. And that way we'll specifically know and what you're proposing and get through it quickly.
Yeah, if you don't mind a suggestion, I would just
Go
say
ahead.
such as tree programs and public art projects.
Okay,
I mean, that's really what I would like to reflect on what we did discuss, because do you guys all remember this
I
discussion at
do.
the end?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and so
All
I.
in agreement.
Yeah,
If
there's
we're-
no, yeah.
Agreed.
We all agreed then, but I think because it's too vague here for staff to know that, okay, we need to look for grants for trees.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We're already doing the art, but trees are just crazy around here, so
And you
I'm,
said you had one more?
no, those are the only two.
Those are two,
Yeah, so
so,
maybe if we could say identify areas of need for beautification such as tree programs and public art,
yeah,
I'm not a
perfect.
good author, but
Yeah, I think it's fine.
those are the two things I wanted
Yeah,
to.
because that is what we discussed.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you. I
Yeah,
didn't want-
absolutely. And we discussed a lot of things. So if those are the only two things, I read it and,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
And I just want to stay in my lane, and my lane is art and trees, man.
I know it. All right, so the chair will entertain a motion to approve item number 4 as amended. Well, let me, I don't know that we have to vote on the amendment
Change.
because we haven't approved it yet.
Correct.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve item 4 as amended.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Thank you
opposed?
all. Sorry about
Motion
that.
passes. That's good. That's all good. You're reading it, you're doing your work. I like it. I like it. City of Oldsmar. All right, city attorney.
Okay, so these items 8 through 13, I just want to remind you that items 11 and 13 are quasi judicial. The other ones are legislative, so I'm going to try to move through them quickly, but stop me if you have any questions, and I think Marie is going to need to make a presentation relative to at least 11 and 13. So I'll read ordinance, I'm on item number 8, ordinance 2019-01. I'm going to read it by title only. An ordinance declaring the intention of the city of Oldsmar, Florida to annex certain real property located in section 22, township 28 south, range 16 east, further described as lots 13, block 9, map, should be map section number 1, West Oldsmar, parcel number 22, 2816, 9666000900130 into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. That was the reading of ordinance 2019-01 by title only.
Is there anyone from the public? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak? Seeing none, anybody from the council? Seeing none, I'll close council's comment. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion from the council to approve.
moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, item number 9, this is the first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2019-02. I'll read that by title only. An ordinance declaring the intention of the city of Oldsmar, Florida to annex certain real property located in section 22, township 28 south, range 16 east, further described as lot 12, block 10, map of section number 1, West Oldsmar, parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 666, 0, 010, 0120, into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2019-02 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak from the public? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Chair entertains a motion to approve at this time.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 10, this is the first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2019-03. I'll read that by title only. An ordinance of the city of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the future land use plan element of the comprehensive plan of the city by amending the land use designation on those certain real properties described as parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6660, 016, 0130. Parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6660, 017, 0190. Parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6660, 018, 0060. Parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6660, 018, 0070. And parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9, 6660, 018, 0150, as further described in Exhibits A, B, C, D, and E, from the county land use designation of residential low, RLM, to the city land use designation of residential urban, RU, and providing for an effective date. That was the first reading of ordinance 2019-03 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve from the council?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? So Ann keeps saying something to me in these first couple items. Like
We should be doing roll call votes.
she said roll call, and I thought she was saying drum roll, and I was about to bust out. Ann, please call the roll.
Absolutely. Councilmember Norris.
Aye.
Councilmember Saraki.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McKee.
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon.
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2019-03, amending the land use for West Oldsmar Properties Number 15 from Pinellas County designation of residential low medium to City of Oldsmar designation of residential urban, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Right, okay. Item number 11, first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2019-04. This is a quasi judicial hearing. Anyone that's going to speak on this issue, if you could stand up, raise your right hand, and be sworn under oath. Do you swear the testimony you're going to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Okay, Marie, if you'd step forward and make your
Marie
presentation.
Dauphiné, I'm Planning and Redevelopment Director, and this is a request for rezoning for Block 16, Lot 13, Block 17, Lot 19, Block 18, Lots 6, 7, and 15, Oldsmar, West Oldsmar, Section 1. We're requesting a rezoning from the county designation of R4, 1, 2, and 3 family residential district to city zoning designation of R3 residential 2 and 3 family district. Staff reviewed the request against the standards outlined in section 3.15.3 of the Oldsmar Land Development Code, and based on that review, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request. The planning board also recommended approval unanimously. So I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, and if there's any questions.
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, is there anyone else that wants to speak on this item? Okay, seeing no one else, we can close the public hearing.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Norris.
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McKee.
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon.
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2019-04, rezoning West Oldsmar Properties Number 15 from Pinellas County zoning designation of R4 to city zoning designation of R3, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 12 on your agenda is first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2019-05. I'll read that by title only. An ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the future land use plan element of the comprehensive plan of the city by amending the land use designation on those certain real properties generally described as vacant land consisting of parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9660, 009, 0170, and parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9660, 010, 0080, as further described in Exhibits A and B from the county land use designation of residential low, medium, RLM, to the city land use designation of residential urban, RU, and providing for an effective date. That was reading of ordinance 2019-05 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wishes to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Sensing none? Sensing you're ready to vote? Roll call.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Sedell?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2019-05, amending the land use for West Oldsmar Properties number 16 from Pinellas County designation of residential low medium to City of Oldsmar designation of residential urban, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Next item on your agenda, item number 13, first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2019-06. This is also a quasi-judicial hearing. I'll read the ordinance by title only. An ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, rezoning certain real properties described as parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9666, 009, 0170, and parcel number 22, 28, 16, 9666, 010, 0080, as further described in Exhibits A and B from the county zoning designation of R3, Residential 2 and 3 Family District, to the city zoning designation of R2, Residential Single Family District, and providing for the effective date. That was reading of ordinance 2019-06 by title only. Marie, you wanted to make your presentation?
Marie Daphne, Planning and Redevelopment Director. This request is for Block 9, Lot 17, Block 10, Lot 8, West Oldsmar, Section 1, and it's a request to change the land use from the county designation of R3, Residential 2 and 3 Family District, to city designation of R2, Residential Single Family. And this was reviewed against the standards outlined in Section 3.15.3 of the Oldsmar Land Development Code, and based on that review, staff is recommending approval, and the planning board concurred at their meeting. And I'd like to enter the staff report into the record. Any questions?
Anyone else that wants to step forward and speak on this agenda item? Seeing none?
Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McKee? Yes. Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Sedell?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2019-06, rezoning West Oldsmar Properties number 16 from Pinellas County zoning designation of R3 to city zoning designation of R2, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. The next item on the agenda is city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 14 is authorize city manager to enter negotiations with Commonwealth Hotels LLC for the purpose of entering into a development agreement for a portion of the city-owned property to the east of City Hall. You all received a distribution of a graphic depiction of what has been proposed, which is not the same as what was in your agenda item. I would like to ask our council manager award winner if she would handle this, since the majority of the communication between Mr. Fauber and his representatives has been with my assistant city manager, Felicia Donnelly.
Hi. So in your packets is the original submission, and then even today I received some more information from Commonwealth Hotels. And so the revision of the site plan, I think you all have in front of you, but it shows a smaller footprint of the site, and it limits the site to 2.32 acres. Representatives are here from Commonwealth if you have any direct questions.
Any questions of you?
Any questions of me?
Any questions? With the applicant? I don't know applicant's the right word, but the interested party like to make a presentation?
All right,
Thank you guys for having me here. You guys are certainly one of the more fun city councils I've been to. Give you a little bit of background on Commonwealth Hotels real quick.
Tell us who you are, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me stop you for one moment, because I erred on this. I actually need a motion to approve and a second for the person's discussion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Purposes, go ahead. Please state your name, your address for the record.
Okay, Paul Stanton, 9751 Cherbourg Drive, Union, Kentucky, 41091.
Thank you.
Commonwealth Hotels has been around about 35 years. We've got 50 hotels around the country, several of them here in Florida, and we're developing more hotels as we go. We've got full-service hotels, select-service hotels, Hilton, Marriott's, Hyatt's primarily, one boutique hotel. We've done public-private partnerships before. In Cincinnati, well, on the Covington side, in Kentucky, we did a full-service Marriott hotel with a convention center attached to it that the city owned. Out in Denver, we did 3 years ago, we did a Hyatt Regency Hotel Conference Center and parking garage that the city owned, the conference center and the parking garage. We managed them, the whole thing as one complex under a management agreement with them. Successful ventures on all of them. What we're proposing here, after looking at what the site is and everything, is a Marriott Spring Hill Suites hotel with a rooftop bar, meeting space so we can have weddings, social events where you're up on top where you can have a view of the city and the surrounding cityscape there. We think the rooftop bar would be a welcome addition. Kind of different perspective on the city versus ground level, you're up where you can kind of see it. The all-suite product we think is very beneficial to travelers. It works well for the business travelers that are coming in for 1 or 2 days during the week. It works really well for families that are coming in, or if you've got family members coming in and they got a couple of kids. It's a suite product so the parents can be in the bedroom, the kids can be on the sleeper sofa in the living area, but still close enough to where you can keep an eye on them. Works well for sports teams if you have that type of business, family reunions. It's a great product, very well received by most travelers and everything, rated high with J.D. Power and all the other rating agencies. When we looked at the site, we weren't quite sure if there was any need for retention ponds or anything. So what we'd envision is having green space around the hotel, on the main road coming in, having a gazebo, green space, so it looks inviting as you're driving in, because this would be kind of the entryway into the park development, town center, whatever the right terminology is.
Town center is good.
Yes. So we want it to be welcoming and we want it to stand out. We don't want a big old building right there to turn on. We want it to be like a park-like setting that would be open, obviously, to residents and everybody wandering around that can stop, sit down, have a coffee, whatever, watch. If there is a need for a retention pond or anything there, then would be a fountain and everything, so it'd be presentable. If not, then maybe the space is better utilized just as green space so people can run around and play on it, sit out in the sun, those types of things. We think 2.3 acres is plenty of room for the parking components that are needed. Without knowing exactly what would go in the rest of the development, there may not need to be that much parking, because with whatever goes in, there's probably additional parking scattered throughout the development. And I'm sure there'd be cross easements because the hotel would primarily use parking at night. A lot of the other uses may only use the parking during the day, so it would make sense to kind of share that. And we're flexible in how that comes together. To a certain extent, we're flexible in the look of the hotel. We want it to blend in with the architecture here and the thought of what Oldsmar is. We're not going to build a steel and glass structure that is an eyesore. I don't think that's what you want, but we want to blend it in with a Floridian type facade so that it's something everybody can be proud of. And obviously people would come and want to stay there. That in a nutshell is what we're looking to do. Any questions? I know I've got more information that we can
Do any council members have any questions?
At some point.
I'll start with you, council.
Start with
Norris,
me. I was
if you have a
hoping-
question.
I do, but I was hoping you were gonna go last with me. I do have a couple questions. Okay, so
Would you like me to come back to you?
Yes, can I go last?
You can.
Okay,
Councilmember
thanks.
Saraki?
Sure, I just have, one of the things that the council's been talking about with our work sessions is we're looking for a garage. We're really not looking for the parking lot type environment. Have you thought about helping us with a garage for parking?
We could certainly build the garage. It would just depend on how you would see that coming together. I don't know if you're looking for us to build and own the garage, or if you want a city-owned garage, or...
On that
Go
point,
ahead, Eric.
yeah, let me interject on that point a little bit. So just a reminder, what we're going through right now is a matter of saying, you know, you have our blessing to engage, the city manager has the blessing to engage and get into discussions of detail. So what I would envision, like some of the stuff that we are talking about right now in terms of parking garage, that's something that this council has expressed the need for. Mind you, we don't have an approved concept plan at this point. We're working on that. It's in progress, but that we envision as being part of it. And so I would say, you know, the question is, are you open to it? Because that's probably something that is going to be part of the negotiations. How that looks, how the economics of that looks is something that is part of the discussion between you and the city manager. It's not to suggest that we expect you to make a commitment to, but rather know that that's something that is probably going to be part of those discussions. We're not trying to have the negotiations from up here, but in any event, so that.
That was really the only question I had, Mayor, was if he would consider that.
It's off my list now, so.
Yeah. And we are open to that. I mean, it probably makes sense, depending, you only got so much space here, and if you want to build a real town center with wider walking sidewalks and all that, and retail and places to sit outside, that probably makes sense to.
Well, I'm very happy that you're open to that suggestion. Thank you.
Councilmember Gannon.
Do you have any prior experience developing the Marriott Autograph Collection style hotel? Is there a particular reason why you went with the Spring Hill Suites style?
We have not built a Autograph yet. That's a kind of a higher end, full service type hotel.
Okay.
Looking at the market, looking at the average rate in this area and the demand, it did not seem to make economic sense for that particular brand. I think a all-suite product clearly would fill a void here and would be very well received by visitors. And, you know, we can do a lot of upgraded finishes. So it's not going to be a plain vanilla hotel. It would be more of an upgraded that would, you'd be proud of it. Let's leave it at that.
Vice Mayor, or did you have more?
Can you explain why the orientation of it from the original submission, I'm looking at this one, changed to this?
We were trying to shrink the footprint of the land. Initially, we thought we could use more of the land, and then after discussions, internal discussions, we said, no, we can't take that much land out of it because there needs to be enough for the town center. So we shrunk the footprint and condensed it down. But again, that's, as we get into planning and figuring out what everybody really wants, that's subject to change.
Okay.
I mean, it's.
The size of the ask, or you mean just?
Well, depending on what else you're going to put out there, I mean, the hotel can be, we can make it fewer stories and take a bigger footprint. We can make it higher and take a smaller footprint. I mean,
Yeah.
once you get into design and planning, I mean, there's a lot of everything's on the table, so we can,
Okay.
as long as we end up with enough rooms in there to make it economically feasible, we're good.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I just have one question. So did you build the Art Hotel in Denver? Is that part of
Yes.
your portfolio?
Yes.
That's the boutique hotel you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, that's the only question I have. The Art, A-R-T?
ART. very nice hotel.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman?
Okay, now I feel better, because there was some things that I wasn't really sure about. A question for us, I guess. Of the 5 hotels that we have, are none of them suites?
We have a couple. Actually, our Residence Inn has suites,
Okay,
similar style.
So it's not gonna be the only one that's suites, but I do like that you said that you are willing to upgrade some things, because I looked at the exteriors, and some looked nicer than others, because we are looking for something that's a little bit more upscale, but it's also market-driven, so if an upscale hotel's not gonna be viable, so I like that you're open to making it look nicer. So my questions do kind of go toward the site. I love that you are planning on solar panels and the rooftop, all of those things we've talked, well, we haven't talked about the solar panels, but the rooftop, we all agree that we would like to have one of those. If it does end up to be this one and we don't have the parking element, it seems like we lost a lot of the nice green zone and fountain. And do you think that if it does end up being this, would we have any room to put some of the nice elements that you list here? The gazebo, the fountains, the green zone, the landscaping to resemble a park, all of that. Do you think that it would fit if you have the parking all the way around the hotel?
I think we can shrink the parking based on what gets developed
In the rest of
in the rest of it.
Okay.
So you're open to,
Yeah, I mean, and I think up on that triangle in the front corner, I think we have a gazebo there.
You got a gazebo.
I mean, it's not a huge green space, but again,
Right.
it's a rendering, it's.
Right. Well, I'm just happy that in the event that is economically what we can do here, that you are willing to do some more upscale elements so that it looks nice.
Mayor, can I ask one more question? I'm sorry, Mayor.
that's all right?
When we had our work session, and excuse me, the gentleman next to you, you had a book that you showed me some of the Hyatt Place. Is that, you changed your mind from the Hyatt Place and now you went to the Marriott Spring Hill Suites? Because you had
Yes.
mentioned something about maybe building a Hyatt Place.
There's a Hyatt Place in here.
I think he was just showing that as an example, as in one of
Okay,
our
okay.
introductory things. To be honest, Marriott and Hilton are the top 2 brands, and they return economically, return a much better return for our investors.
That's fine, I was just curious.
A Hyatt Place, great hotel, great product, just doesn't have the same financial returns as you would like. So that would be our third choice.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. One, the rooftop bar, I know it was shown, and I recognize that this is not even, a true concept plan. It's just kind of first so the council understands what you have in mind or a little bit better. Is the intent that rooftop bar would be open beyond just special events? Because I was a little unclear when I read the description that was provided in the letter of interest.
Ideally, depending on zoning, and we get it approved, we would have it open every day.
Okay.
I mean,
That answers my question. You've already answered my other questions. I have no other questions of you. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a motion before us. Is there anyone who'd like to have some discussion amongst us? Vice Mayor. Boom, yes. Thank you, sir.
This is disappointing in my eyes. I think that this is more of the same. This was the hesitation I had kind of initially when we were working with this developer, because I felt like they lacked the portfolio of boutique hotels. I think if you look at the Art Hotel that they built in Denver, granted, we're not downtown Denver, but if you look at it, you'll be severely disappointed in what's being shown before us today. Because we asked for a boutique hotel. A Spring Hill Suites is not a boutique hotel. We asked for a hotel that was a higher end, more of a luxury hotel that would appeal to the higher end businesses in Oldsmar that have been asking for higher end hotels, Nielsen, Lockheed, et cetera. If we give them a Spring Hill Suites, I guarantee they're still going to continue to send their business clients to the Grand Hyatt in Tampa because it's near the airport and it's 20 minutes from here. So in order to compete with those kind of hotels, this has to be a higher end property. A Spring Hill Suites goes for $100 to $130 a night in Tampa Bay. That's not a high end, like it's a 3-star hotel. So it's not what I think this developer stood up and kind of talked to us and said they were going to provide to us. It's mostly surface area parking, which we did not say at all that we wanted at all in the plan. There was supposed to be some valet parking or some higher end type parking that would be conducive to a more of a higher end property. It's not really walkable because it's mostly a parking lot in my eyes. Our most valuable corner of all of the land that we've been banking for years would be a Spring Hill Suites, a 3-star hotel. That's, to my eyes, does not attract residents to want to come in and have coffee. When have you ever gone to a Spring Hill Suites to go hang out at the rooftop for a drink? You wouldn't have unless you just happen to be staying there. So it's not conducive in my eyes to the local residents to want to go and actually hang out there. There's no kind of co-working space that we talked about. And the comment about architecture that fits in, Floridian style, I don't want something that fits in. I want something that stands out. Like, this is a corner that needs to have a destination, that needs to be visible, or people aren't going to stop and turn in. And if you put a Spring Hill Suites there, people are going to continue to pass on through. They're not going to come to downtown. So if we do piece this out versus having, you know, sort of one master plan, this has to be the most special, unique boutique hotel we can get, or it's not going to work. And that other development that we want to see happen is not going to happen. The gazebo on Tampa Road, who's going to go sit in a gazebo on the side of Tampa Road with cars going 65 miles per hour on it? Nobody. Nobody. That is a waste of money and time. So in my eyes, I'm a no all the way based off what's presented to us today.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. Let's see, since I let you go last time, Councilmember Norris.
There's a lot of things that I do agree with Councilmember McGee on. I do want something higher end, but I fear that the market might not. I don't know. I just don't know enough about development. I don't know as much as Gabby does. I don't know as much as you do. I don't know about real estate. Yeah, sure. I would love to see what you're envisioning there. I don't like that it's all parking. I liked that they talked about possibly getting rid of some of the surface parking and partnering with the parking garage. I didn't realize it was a 3-star hotel. I didn't realize that. So I just don't have a lot of, knowledge of these things in order to give a lot of input. So I'm open to the negotiations, but that's about it.
Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. Gabby, you go, girl. That's the way to
This is her lane.
get it going.
I mean, we have a vision. This
Yeah.
doesn't fit in the vision.
I kind of agree with you on a lot of your points. I really do. I'm really disappointed that when I saw the first site plan, I thought, whoa, they were going to take the whole area, and I thought maybe it was something else was going to come out of it. And then Al showed me this yesterday morning, and I was a little disappointed because seeing the parking lot, because I believe you two gentlemen were at our workshop and we mentioned it very clearly what we were looking for. And I was hoping that, especially when Al told me that you were going to be in the meeting today, that you were going to come out here and knock our socks off. That's what I was really hoping for. And unfortunately, what Ms. McGee said, I'm kind of sticking with what she said. I'm a little disappointed. And that's all I have to say, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Gannon.
I share a lot of the same concerns as Councilmember McGee. My concern especially became heightened when I saw the two submissions, because I saw this applicant attend several of our planning sessions, and the packet came out on Friday with this one, and then I met with Al first thing Monday morning, 8 a.m., and he's handing me this, and I was like, and the warning flags kind of went up because I wanted a clear submission. And then when I looked at the written portion of the submission, it started to conflict, of course, because it came with the original design. In addition to that, even with the decreased footprint, 2.32 acres to me is a big chunk. Now, I know it can't be, a half an acre, but I do feel like we have credible submissions at 1.5 acres. I do realize that this is largely encompassed by a surface parking lot, but then again, at the same time, I was like, well, why is there a surface parking lot? That wasn't ever part of our discussion. And so then if you take that out, then, okay, is that the same submission? Let's say it's negotiable. Well, then if the ask is still for 2.32 acres, regardless of what goes there, grass or parking spots, I'm still stuck with, that's a big ask. So whether the submission needs to be revised to reduce the amount of the ask for, removed parking spaces or something of that nature, it might cause me to become slightly more convinced. I also am concerned with the, what's the word? What Gabby said. It says Spring Hill Suites. That's what it's going to say. That's what it's going to say. And I don't envision myself patronizing it other than to ask people who are coming into town to stay there, which is great for a hotel, but not for a downtown. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I hope I'm making sense. And I also thought to myself, okay, if I'm a resident and I live, across from State Street East, down Fairfield and Washington, and I'm looking up the street, I want it to be something that I want to walk to or something that's inviting for me and my family, and not just something that I'm kind of separated from by a fence and a dumpster. And I know that's kind of a tough spot, and I know this is just a site plan, but I feel like there's something about the concept that's missing that gave me pause.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
So let me share a few thoughts with y'all. I'll remind everybody, that this is a step, right? Before we have an elevation to look at, right? What I think is very important about the step, if this council decides to authorize the city manager to engage, and assuming that the provider of letter of interest still has the appetite to do so, it leads it to the next point of having taken council's comments and saying, okay, we can either make that make sense for us or we can't, right? Because we just got a pretty good view of how that's going to go, right? And so that, to me, is part of the value of going through this process before they've gone through the expense of designing, real site plans and elevations and all that based on what might be traditionally provided with a Spring Hill. Personally, I don't have a problem with the brand. The design, there are certain ones, look, I looked, as I'm sure some of you did, there are some of them that are very attractive and appealing, right? The other thing that I would remind this council is that we don't have a deal with anybody, right? Sure. And so, I believe it's in the best interest of the council to let our feelings be known. I think it makes sense to engage the city manager because now I'm pretty certain that if the interested party still has an appetite, they know what the elevation and so forth kind of looks like when it comes back. I will say a 10,000 square foot meeting facility is something the city sorely needs. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that the flea market's new venue is going to have that kind of space, but wouldn't be the same in terms of being up and above and more scenic. And the city does need something like that. The poolside suites, that gives it more of a little bit of a vibe to it, I think. But, I think everyone's point is well taken, and it's certainly not lost on me. And to, I think, Vice Mayor's point, some of the questions when we had just the open discussion, we're definitely going to want to do a valet because it adds a different feel to it. And so perhaps maybe their market research said, I won't support it. But to some extent, market research is what people make good decisions on, but I will tell you, I've heard the same thing from, Nielsen Media, Microlumen, all the folks in here that are large employers and national players who have said to us, we send our people over to Innsbruck. We like the hotels, they're fine, but they won't work for us. And, because we asked them the question, if we had an upper end hotel, would you support? Absolutely. And they're the ones who buy a lot of rooms here, right? I would also remind everybody that, you know, this becomes part of the process. You know, we have the follow-up workshop. In that, I am convinced that if we had a concept plan that we agreed on, which we're very close to, I think, very, very close to, and we have taken the votes and the approvals to say, yes, we are going to have this park here with this impressive element that will, whatever the element, whether it's a dancing fountain or whatever it is, and we have that in the bag where they look at it and go, okay, you know, the city is doing more than just saying, oh, we got a piece of land here, we're gonna, you know, we wanna slowly get people in it. No, that we're, you know, look, we've already put our money where our mouth is. The city's putting up the money to bring some of those draw features in. I think it raises the game where people go, all right, maybe the risk tolerance that we have is a little bit higher. But, so I would say competition is always good.
I was gonna ask.
And I don't think that should be lost on us. I'm sure it's not. And I personally will support the city manager engaging with them because it's like this, you know, this is the part of flushing this out so that the people sitting here go, well, okay, well, that didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I think it went great, right? Because it's a good indication of, you know, if you're interested, this is the kind of, you know, kind of thing that we're looking for.
I'd like
Vice
to
Mayor.
say, sorry, I was just gonna add a few more comments. I would remind everyone on the council that, you know, this party has been before us before. They sat in the work session, so they knew what we wanted. This was nothing that any of us came together. And so in my eyes, them hearing it again clearly isn't changing what's coming before us, and that's staff time and our assistant city manager time that now has to then go and work through this potentially to not have many changes come before us again. So I would hesitate dedicating more staff time to this because we have so many big things right now that are happening within the city that we're working on. And two, you know, it just lacks vision. It lacks all the vision that we have, because if we continue to have people say, well, this is all you can get, this is who you are, that's all we'll ever have. And I know none of us up here believe that. And I'll tell you, with all the other big developments that have ever occurred, especially like I bring this up often, Armature Works, that was a dead zone. Nobody went there 10 years ago.
It's true.
They would have put a Spring Hill Suites there, though. The council would have said, yes, let's put a Spring Hill Suites there, because nobody else would have gone there. And it takes vision, and it also takes, you know, investment from the council, because that's what that council did. The council was willing to give away a part of the land or at a certain price or at a discount to get the best possible thing that they couldn't have even come up with, and that's what they got. And look at everything that's happened 10 years since.
And I think that's an excellent point. That, specifically as it relates to enticement,
Sure.
to mitigate some of the risk of someone coming in who's sitting on the fence, I think that's a really insightful statement. I will say that Commonwealth Hotels has not been at those meetings. You know,
Sure.
a go-between.
Of the parties, yes.
Yeah, and so I think there's a big difference between, you know, the realtor who are in that space, who specialize, you know, versus the actual investor
Sure.
being here. You know, I think that just a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit
good
of distinction.
I just wanted to say one more thing, that, you know, it'd be in a free market, and with them hearing what we have all said, on top of our work sessions, on top of all the points that you've made and everything, if they are you know, I think that the competition helps in the whole process. And if they don't come back with something better, then I think they might know that it's not going to get approved, but it sounds like they're open to something better. Maybe they'd even be open to stepping it up to the next one, the autograph one that Councilmember Gannon talked about. So I would just say, in the spirit of competition, it's not, we might lose some staff time. Yes, Gabby, we might lose money in staff time, but this is a big deal. This has been 13 years in coming, trying to get a downtown built. So
Yeah, and it could lead, as the
Right.
council member said, it could lead to
we're not,
approved
all we're
proposals.
doing is saying that he can negotiate. We're not approving anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that being the case, one more.
One more question. Is the authorization for the city manager to negotiate as to 2.32 acres, or is it an authorization for the city manager to use his discretion and modify the amount of acreage as the
I think it's,
negotiations progress?
it's a great question, and I believe that it's, the council would instruct on the vote perhaps. Well, we have a motion on the table, but I believe that the city manager would take, as he's sitting here scribbling notes, I don't think it would be to work on this, nor do I believe that the party who has provided the letter of interest would dream of trying to, go negotiate on something that clearly is not really what was envisioned. So it's a good question, but I think he has the latitude, certainly to come back and update us individually kind of on things like that. Are you comfortable with that, city manager?
Yes, sir. Everything that gets negotiated has to come back in front of you anyway.
But it's a good point. Very good point. All right. Sensing you're ready to vote, I'm going to ask for a roll call on this. I was going to drum roll, but that's a bit dramatic, isn't it?
Absolutely. Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
No.
Councilmember Gannon?
No.
Mayor Sedell?
Yes.
Authorization for the city manager to enter negotiations with Commonwealth Hotels LLC for the purpose of entering into a development agreement for the city-owned property to the east of City Hall passes with 3 votes for and 2 against, McKee and Gannon dissenting.
Mayor, can I ask a couple of questions of Mr.
Sure.
Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton, can I ask you a couple of things?
Sure.
Regards to the specifics of the negotiating, who am I negotiating with?
Myself right now.
Okay, so if the ProCorp Realty people, are they involved at all in the negotiations? They're in Kentucky, I mean, how is that going to look logistically? My point is this, if you're delegating that to them, I'd like to see that in writing. If I'm negotiating with you, that's fine, if there was a conveyance involved, it would be the Commonwealth?
Yes.
Okay, so can you give me a little, on how you see that working?
I think we would work directly.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I'm fine either way, I just wanted to know.
Brokers are intermediaries
dealing
and
with
brought
Mr.
us
Fogel.
together. They found the opportunity, and then
Okay.
there was obviously some confusion there that not everything you guys had talked about in the past did get communicated quite the way obviously you thought it was. So,
okay.
I'm glad you're here.
Tom, are we?
Well, that happens.
Well,
you know,
now
we-
you know.
I'm
Now
sorry.
it's
All right, all right.
I think it's pretty clear now,
All right.
isn't it?
All right, you're out of order. You're out of order.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That was it.
That was it? You know, it's always good to go maybe and look at the minutes from those workshops and stuff. Probably take you 10 minutes to read them and give you some more thought, food for thought. All right. Well, that was fun. All right, city clerk.
Just a reminder, we have a work session coming up on the architectural pattern books. Should be on the 29th at 4 o'clock.
Excellent, excellent. City council, item 15, approve the tentative agenda. Is there anybody who'd like to add anything to the tentative agenda?
You don't think it's long enough?
Councilmember Gannon.
And my hand goes down. Well, this, I guess, would be a question, Mr. Mayor. This is the tentative agenda for the June 4th meeting only and not any other future meetings, such as in July, for example?
Correct. This is actually the agenda we're voting on for June 4th.
My addition for a
A
July-
rainy day.
A July meeting.
Day. All right.
awesome.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve
we do
as
have-
presented.
We do
Excuse
have an
me?
additional presentation from Forward Pinellas that was scheduled today for the June 4th meeting.
Okay. I'm sorry that you wanted to add to the
Yes.
tentative agenda?
Yes,
Okay.
I wasn't sure what the mechanism is, but Forward Pinellas confirmed today that they'd be at the June 4th
All right.
meeting.
So I would entertain, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to add that and approve the tentative agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Outstanding. Item 16, council comments. Before we start the council comments, I'm going to call on Saraki first, Councilmember Saraki first, but I want to say congratulations, hometown hero, second time from the Florida League of Cities.
Good job, Dan.
And yeah, that's
Thank you very
outstanding
much.
work, outstanding work. And the second thing, and I don't know that everyone knows this, but Dan is now the chairman of the Florida League of Cities Municipal Administrative Committee, and that's a big deal. So it's should get a round of applause there. Having said that, we have a little video we want to show.
Oh, great. Oh, no.
Can you turn the volume up a little?
Gonna be over. What? It's gonna be over by the time we hear it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yay. We just want you to know we're proud of it.
No.
Alicia, where
Fell
is she?
from the sky.
Great job,
But
thank
anyhow,
you.
congratulations. Council comments?
All right.
Why don't you lead us off, council
It's,
member?
thank you, Eric, for that. It was that's really special. I worked really hard for the board membership to be the chairman, and there was a lot of other applicants, and I was very honored to be picked. I got the letter today, and Tom said, "Stop wrinkling that and frame it." So I'm really honored to represent the city of Oldsmar for the 2019-2020 year as the chairman of that board. I'm honored, and thank you for all your support, everyone from the city of Oldsmar. That was the first thing. And then the second thing I just wanted to say was I really enjoyed our groundbreaking of that freaking hockey rink. I'm psyched. Are you kidding me? That's incredible. The press, people commenting on all the news press we got was just absolutely amazing. And I'm just really, really proud of our city, really excited of our city. And I just wanted to mention that, especially the hockey players being there. Dave Andrewchuk signing my hockey stick. It's just so much fun. And the last thing is the 5K run that we mentioned. I'm going to be in that first 5K ever in my life. So I'm going to.
Good job.
Good.
I'm not gonna jog the whole thing, but I'm gonna walk it, most of it, but I'll definitely be there. And Chip, you go ahead and pass me. It's okay. And that's all I have.
All right, excellent.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Councilmember Norris.
Okay, a couple of the same things, okay? The home, I just wanted to, for everybody that doesn't know what the home rule hero is, the home rule is the ability to address local problems with local solutions with minimal state interference. So it's a big deal. And I know this is kind of silly, but I was shopping and I was looking for a little thing for my nephew and I came across this. And so it's for you, homeroom hero. You have to open it up.
Oh, wow.
You would think that it's just it's a hot dog. You would think that it's just a regular little
look at
superhero,
that.
but it's the homeroom hero.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
Dan. And okay, it took super glue and
He's
markers
bald,
and
too.
stuff. You think it's Captain America, but it's not. It's Dan.
It's Dan.
And look, it even has a shiny head like
the
Dan.
hockey stick?
Look, see, it even has a shiny head like Dan.
Thank you, Linda.
That's very thoughtful.
Thank you very much.
I had fun
Linda.
making
Thank
that.
you. It was very nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you. So it was awesome that you got that. And the hockey, I know.
When did he lose control? When the meeting started?
Hey, this is council comments.
I know.
I can give superheroes
Absolutely.
to a homeroom hero.
That's right. Hey, you go, girl.
And I worked hard on that little sucker. The groundbreaking was it was on so many different news stations, and I think that it's awesome that Al is so proud that he was quoted on NHL.com. I think it's so cool. And I got friend requested by Jay Feaster. I was like, oh my God, I got a friend request from Jay Feaster, the chief.
I have his cell number.
You have his cell number.
now it's complicated.
Yeah, see, he's one up in me. So it was great with the CEO there and the players. I can't pronounce the players' name, so I'm not even going to try. But it was a wonderful thing for the city of Oldsmar. Another side note on home rule. Governor DeSantis just vetoed House Bill 771, which was a home rule preemption on the cities that banned single-use straws. And instead of it going through, because the House and the Senate passed it, DeSantis vetoed it and gave us our home rule back. So that's pretty cool. One more a quick note and then something personal. The quick note is, I've been getting a lot of questions from Gull Air Village residents regarding ownership of the sidewalks that surround Gull Air Village. The answer is Gull Air Village owns the
May I
sidewalks.
have a point of privilege?
Yeah,
I'm having a very difficult time.
Point of privilege, excuse me. If you all would like to talk, hello? If you all want to talk, because we can't hear up here, please go outside the doors, okay? It's kind of loud.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Mayor,
you.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Can you begin again with your comments about?
I
Gull Air
couldn't hear
Village?
either. I wouldn't.
Sure thing. Okay, so I've been getting some calls about questions about who owns the sidewalks that surround Gull Air Village. And we looked it up, and it is Gull Air Village that owns the sidewalk. So I just wanted to point that out for any other Gull Air Village residents that want to know. Also been getting questions about who owns the culverts, the little ditches that go to the canal. And the one at Tarpon and Canal is owned by Gull Air Village, and the other one is owned by Swift Mud. So just for any other people out there. And the other one is, okay, so my name is Linda Foley Norris, okay? I was born Linda Ann Foley. My mother passed away, my father passed away, and 2 years ago, I unofficially changed my first name to Kalinda. Now, I did not change it legally, and I did not change it within the city of Oldsmar, because I was running for office, and who's gonna vote for Kalinda Foley? They don't know her. But everybody outside of Oldsmar already calls me Kalinda. So I'm gonna phase in my new name. I know this sounds silly, but it means a lot to me. I wanna phase in my new name because I wanna honor my parents by going back to my maiden name. So I'm gonna be Kalinda Ann Foley, but you can still call me Linda. I will answer to Linda. When I make it official and I do it legally, I'll let y'all know, but I wanna start phasing in it because everybody, even my family, calls me Kalinda. So I know that, I just think that I need to announce it so that y'all know. If y'all have heard other people call me Kalinda because people call me Kalinda, this is why. I do want to honor my parents. I will be going back to my maiden name and my original middle name, and my first name is going to be Kalinda. But right now I'm gonna try Kalinda Norris for a while to get people used to it, and then eventually be. So I know
How do you
that's.
like to spell it?
I'm spelling it capital K, little a,
Okay.
capital L, Y, and D A. So capital K, little a, yeah, and there's a reason behind that. Ka has many positive spiritual connotations in different religions all over the world. So, and then it's just gonna be Linda Ann Foley, so it's just gonna be Kalinda Ann Foley. So I will answer to both because it took my family a good year to change from Linda to Kalinda. So I won't mind if you still call me Linda, but I'm gonna prefer Kalinda. And if y'all don't mind, I would like to have Kalinda up here, and I'd like my new name tags to be Kalinda, so. But legally, until I change it, I'm still legal.
Gotcha. All right, well,
That's it.
thank you,
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Kalinda. See, I got it in there right away. Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had an incredible time at Fire Ops 101, y'all. And I know you were all waiting to find out how it went because every one of you had already been through it once. It was a really incredible and educational experience. I have no idea how they managed to function and do a job and do it quite well in all of that gear. We were accompanied by Nan and myself and Chip. We were all accompanied by Jason Schwabe and Renee Neiman and Tom Brennan. And God bless them. I mean, Chip and Nan were carrying their own tank. I was kind of on my own in my own group. And so Schwabe carried my tank, and I was like, oh,
You
thank
got the
God.
privilege.
At one point.
They didn't carry my tank when I went through.
I know. I was like,
Tank
oh,
either.
I couldn't even move. It was laughable, you guys. We were supposed to get down on our knees and drag the hose into this, burning building that a lot of people came right back out and could not go through with the exercise. And they're like, okay, ma'am, we're going to have you pick up the hose and bring it in. Because I was first in line. I could not lean over to pick up the hose.
Did you have the nozzle?
Yes. It was ridiculous. And then
I'm gonna note that, in case there's ever a fire up here.
yeah, don't put me in charge. And even with the extrication equipment, they're like, ma'am, we need you to, can you lift it up? And are you lifting it? I was like, this is me lifting it. It is not lifting. This is how strong I am.
Kids you carry around?
Yeah, but it was awkward weight, and then holding it with one arm and twisting it, and even the EMS sort of portion of it, which wasn't as razzle dazzle as the fake smoke and everything, performing CPR on that dummy for 2 minutes straight and doing it the right way so that little disc thing doesn't yell at you. It was tough.
How'd you
You're
do
sweating.
cutting the car? How'd you do cutting the car in half?
I did really well. I got to cut off the.
Jason held it for her, but.
I got to cut the B post, A post. I thought the B post was. Oh no, A is. Oh, see, I didn't even learn that. Okay, so I cut the A post, and then I got to use the Sawzall to cut the part of the roof off. And it was a really cool experience. I am so grateful that I went to it. I'm boundlessly grateful for the efforts of our first responders, even more so now. So. That being said,
Success, Jason.
there are a lot of photos. If you haven't seen them and you're interested in seeing them, I will reluctantly provide you the Google link that shows me and
You
others.
might even see him again. I don't
Others
know.
on staff equally exasperated.
I'm not angry in those photos.
I would say
You look a little
concerned.
bit angry. Well, you might look a little bit angry. I look a little bit exhausted. So, 1 and 1. But
Wait till you
anyway.
do your 24-hour shift.
That's crazy.
That's even
crazy.
better.
Very cool experience. Very educational experience. Kind of a marketing tool as well.
Sure.
And that's fine. It's an educational tool, a marketing tool. It's a lot of different things. And it was also cool to see a lot of people there from Dunedin, from Pinellas Park, Largo, Tampa, everywhere. So awesome experience. Again, the Lightning, fabulous event. I compliment city staff and congratulations to Al and Felicia, especially on the negotiations. Thank you for all your hard work. You guys made us look really good. Chip, you made us look really good that day. Thank you.
Only that day, though.
Only that day, though. The next day, it wasn't good. No, I'm kidding. Happy birthday to the Women's Club of Oldsmar on May 20th. We turned 100 years old. I'm very excited about that. We had a great end of the year party yesterday, and we will reconvene in September for our first meeting of the new season. I'll probably bring that up again. And then the last thing, I just kind of wanted to get a feel for everyone's intentions as to whether or not they intended to stay through Saturday at the Florida League of Cities Conference. And congratulations to Dan.
Thank you.
Is everybody staying Saturday?
I am.
I am.
Usually, I need to look at it again.
Stay, yeah.
I didn't know if anybody had decided yet or not, but I just wanted to put it out there.
There's a dinner usually Saturday night with a reception after the dinner or
Yeah.
before the dinner.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And then, yeah, you might want to go to that. It's usually
Yeah,
fun.
okay.
It's like an awards thing and
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're gonna stay Saturday. So was that a yes, a maybe?
Yes, it's a yes for me.
Yes, maybe.
Okay,
There you go.
thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I've got nothing. I've spoken enough tonight.
Whoa, I don't think that's ever happened, has it?
Nope.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's fine. I'll take your time. All right, I do have some items. A couple of things. Number one, if you'll recall that we made the decision by consensus to appoint Dan to the PSTA board. He has agreed to remain on the Regional Planning Council if nobody else wants it. But what I would ask, if there is somebody else who would like to be appointed to that board, that they speak up.
When are the meetings?
Mondays at 10 a.m.
Mondays at 10 a.m.? And how often?
once a month.
And what do y'all do? I know I should probably know the answer to
It's
that.
it's more of a learning where you'll have like Clearwater Gas come in and do a presentation. You'll have the airport come in and do a presentation. You'll have different types of, it's more of an educational tool.
Well, I know the ladies at the end there, they have jobs that are more demanding. Would either of you be open to it? Because I wouldn't mind.
I have 10 a.m. Monday forecast.
You have 10
calls.
a.m. and
I'm unable, I have to lawyer.
you got a lawyer, right?
It
So
runs till like 12:30.
I would be happy to serve.
Okay, all right, so does everybody agree with that by consensus?
Sure.
Yep.
There, that works out better. I think it's a good idea too, when you spread kind of the workload around
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
much as you can, and
I hope the first one isn't when I'm on vacation, though. I go on vacation in June.
I'll tell you
but
what.
you could figure it
We can
out.
talk after.
Yeah, figure it out later, all right, very good. Hey, I want to congratulate the staff and all the volunteers who worked on the city's golf tournament. I thought it was a great tournament, we had a lot of fun.
That was fun.
I think Dan was out there playing, and Mayor Beavis was out there playing, and I was out. Chip was kind enough to drive me around. I had the opportunity to meet every single person who was playing. And when I got to both Mayor Beavis, he and Mayor Roniker, they both said, well, we're not mayor anymore, so we get to play. You have to go mayor. So I said, okay, I'll pay my dues. So anyhow, it was a great time, successful event. It raises money to help with some of the kids' programs that come up in the summertime. And so big kudos. Saturday night, Miss Suda's dancers, I mentioned it earlier. Great job that they do for us. It's a great way for these kids to get out, and they're very talented. And keep them engaged. You know, not everybody wants to do quote-unquote sports, and this is an opportunity for them to excel and do some stuff in the arts. And Suda and Hector work very hard at that. And our staff puts in the extra time as well out there. And it was fun. We had a good time. So anyhow, props to them and the staff for good work on that. Dan already mentioned the Honor Our Heroes run this weekend, this Saturday. Make sure everyone's out there if you can. I'm going to be out there early in the morning. I think, you know, I'm giving a little rah-rah. And then the only way I'd run is if they all were chasing me, probably. I can't lie, but.
They're running by my house, so I'll wave. I'll wave.
So in any event, but get out there and support them. It's part of kind of the celebration for Memorial Weekend, if you will, right? And it supports a good cause. Memorial ceremonies, everyone knows what they're doing. We're all good to go. We're gonna, you know, the program that the advisory board, Veterans Advisory Board puts on is always outstanding. So I expect that it will be no different than it has in the past. I had a question for our city manager. Can you give us any kind of update, if there is one, regarding the BMX track? If not, when we expect some news? And did we do any follow-up related to whether or not there was a safety issue to allow the riders to go out there, staying off the starting hill, of course, but I know that was a question we were asked and deferred to you. So I'm
I'll answer the second question first. The answer is no. Liability is part of the reason. The other reason is 75% of the track is affected by the retaining wall. So in speaking to the insurance company and emphasizing that safety is our ultimate and only concern, the answer is we will not be opening the track or part of the track for anybody to use. Regards the news on the fix or the analysis, we met today with the engineer and the consultant via Skype, I guess, or attempted at Skype, to discuss the plan for how the project will unfold as far as the report goes. He will be making a visit on next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, to start the site work, and they'll mobilize from there and do their plan digging. And they outlined the plan as to how they'll approach that, but we don't really know. We were told by Chris Cuzler, the principal from Ardura, King Engineering, that he thinks the estimates on the timeframes are conservative. We have a fairly decent chance of getting news before the 105 days, but they had to do that to make sure they, you know, could cover the base if they needed to. So I think we'll get news a little quicker than that, but we don't know what the news will be. I'd say the hard stuff will happen starting towards the end of next week.
Okay. All right, so I would ask that maybe we consider, as we get some news, you know, I'd like to see the council updated at each meeting, right? Just so we can stay on top of it, because we're getting asked about it a lot. I'm sure everyone is. The other thing that I think would be a good idea, as we get some news, whether it's even a brief update like that, we had, a conference call today with the engineers, and, here's kind of the outcome of it. If we could put that out on social media in some way, shape, or form, just to kind of keep people informed that there's activity going on it, certainly use some discretion. I mean, that goes without saying, but I think that would be a good idea. You good with that?
Yes, sir. I will also put it in my weekly update.
Outstanding.
For whatever I've accomplished during the week.
Well, very good. Good, then I won't have to keep asking you. Vice Mayor?
Actually, one thing I just realized, so the Florida League Conference, I saw one of the guest speakers on Saturday morning is Josh Linkner. So if you're going to be there Saturday morning, he's an amazing speaker. We've paid him a lot of money over the years to speak to our Cisco partners. And he will talk about like companies and transformation in ways that you never even thought possible.
Cool.
So I'd highly recommend.
What was the last name?
Josh Linkner.
Linkner. Okay.
Yeah, he's on Saturday morning. He's the
Saturday
guest
morning.
speaker.
Good, very good. When is ethics training when we're out there?
Oh,
Because if it's
Okay.
Saturday, I'm doing it online, I'm gonna go
There's
to
going to
that.
be one June 12th at Largo
okay.
Going to that one.
in the afternoon, or it's Wednesday morning at the conference.
Got it.
June 12th, Largo.
Okay, all right, sorry, I just was
Wednesday or
curious.
Thursday morning. Thank you,
Thursday?
Kathy.
All right.
Thank you. Thursday morning.
Well, I have something else, ribbon cutting with the chamber. I recognize that all of our schedules are kind of all over the board, right? I do. But I think if we're able to do a little bit of scheduling, right? Not necessarily forcing everyone to go when they can't go, but rather, I brought the concept up at the planning meeting about trying to utilize a scheduling method for events. And so what I would propose is that perhaps if you don't already, if there is an event, and this kind of came out of the ribbon cutting, if there is an event that you know you're going to with certain, let Kathy know.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't actually ever get to talk to Ann about that. I just realized I didn't.
That's fine.
Okay. And the reason why is because here's what I will do. I'm not going to every event that happens in this city. I don't view that as my job as mayor, quite frankly. And I'm going to go to as many as I can that are possible. I still have a company I run, a family at home, and those types of things. Having said that, I don't expect all of you to do the same. What I do think is that it's incumbent upon this council to try to have events covered. If I've been asked to be a speaker or I'm not going, what I would say, and I saw that one of you were, I would alternate who, unless it's the vice mayor would be an automatic, but I would alternate to say, this person is speaking on behalf of the council and is appointed by the mayor. I don't know if appointed is the right word, but do you understand?
Yep.
And so some of the chamber events, I had a conversation with Jerry Peruzzi and told him that just because we get an email doesn't mean I'm going to an event, right?
Sure.
And he understood. But there was a time before on council when we would try to say, can somebody cover that ribbon cutting? Especially, this is going to sound cold, but I'm most concerned, obviously, about within the city limits of Oldsmar, right? But are you guys agreeable to try to look at that when we have a ribbon cutting? Because they have quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And if one of us is there, I think we got it covered, unless it's something, and as always, if there's some event you absolutely want to be at, it doesn't matter, you go. I mean, we're not saying not to. It's just a matter of knowing who's going to be there.
Sure.
And so.
I went to the Your CBD store ribbon cutting, and it was lovely. And and I won a basket. That was awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, the last thing I have on my comments is just to talk a little bit about the hockey rink. I thought the outdoor hockey rink ribbon cutting was terrific. I think everyone did a good job. And we have a little video to show you that was put out by the National Hockey League, I believe.
Nice.
Good afternoon.
afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for joining the City of Oldsmar and the Tampa Bay Lightning for our official groundbreaking ceremony today.
Hey there, Bolts Nation. We're here in Oldsmar, otherwise known as Oldsmar, Florida, the site of the groundbreaking of the second of 10 outdoor public hockey rinks that the Tampa Bay Lightning are constructing throughout the Tampa Bay area.
If you want to take a city and watch it go from good to great, it takes one thing. It takes vision. And this city has consistently shown vision when it comes to investing in our youth. So now, what we're talking about building here is not just your typical outdoor hockey rink. It's gone from that to having a canopy over it, additional lighting all in it, special tile that's made for playing outdoor hockey, player benches, penalty box, enhanced scoreboard. I mean, we're all in.
100,000 sticks have already gone out to young kids. And we actually, with IGF 2.0, which came out about 3 years ago, we got another 100,000 hockey sticks that are going to go into the marketplace. So now you have 200,000 hockey sticks that are going to be in the market. Now, you don't want those kids all on the streets playing road hockey. You want them playing on these street pads that we're going to build. We're going to build 10 of them. This is the second one. The first one is in Lakewood Ranch. But what we're going to dream about is street hockey leagues throughout the Tampa Bay region. So we'll have street hockey leagues right here in Oldsmar playing against teams in Brandon or downtown Tampa. So then you go from playing street hockey to ice hockey, and the next thing you know, we got Steven Stamkos on our hands, and we're signing players right here out of Tampa Bay.
We partnered with the Lightning because they're a giving team. So when we had the opportunity to partner with the Lightning as a championship level sponsor, the thing that excited me the most was the community involvement. And it's facilities like this that enable kids to have opportunities to do something productive with their life, keep them out of trouble, steer them on the right path. And it's a place where community can gather around and share moments together.
And so to the Lightning, I'd like to say on behalf of our employees and all of our citizens, we say thank you, Steve, Jay, and Bruce, along with the Lightning Community Hockey Team. There's no way we could have done this. We can't even tell you how much we appreciate that you not only brought hockey to the region, but you brought hockey to the community, and you brought it to Oldsmar. That's the first time I saw that. I only heard about it a little while ago, so.
That is awesome.
That's pretty cool. So wow. So, great job.
That's on NHL.com right now.
Yeah, how about that? We should get that as a little promo. I did want to say that you were bragging about getting an invite from Feaster, and you said you had his phone number.
Facebook friended
right?
too.
And
Yeah.
so, but I got Bruce's card from Heritage Insurance.
He left early.
The multi-billion-dollar company who was a sponsor, who took me aside, and their CEO, and said, Eric, if you need something, call me.
Nice.
So I'll take his card, thank you.
Yeah, he was
I
a
got
nice
news for
guy.
you. We're going to call. All right, on that note, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? This does not require any discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
So let me look at those.
Oh, okay, so, you know what?
Did you see me do my point of privilege?
I've been on that board for 3 years.